Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you?
Good. I'm excited because today I'll be visiting with Joe Hill. For those of you who don't know who Joe Hill is, that's Stephen King's son. And I'm not going to ask him what Heidi wants me to ask him. She wants me to ask him if he changed his name to Joe Hill because he didn't want to be Joe King. Joe King. I was like, yeah, I'm not asking him that. It'd be a bad way to start the interview, I think. He's got a new book called The Fireman. We'll be chatting about that. Hey, did you know that humans are not the only species on Earth with drug problems? In Australia, veterinarians are reporting a huge rise in numbers of dogs getting high by licking toxins off of cane toads. It's become a huge epidemic there. So, yeah, their dogs are getting stoned in Australia. Hey, traces of a chemical used in rocket fuel were found in samples of powdered baby formula. That's not good.
No.
The chemical is turned up in several cities' drinking water supplies, too. It can occur naturally, but most perchlorate contamination has been tied to defense and aerospace sites. The levels found could exceed what's considered a safe dose. So there you go. That feels real safe now. Got some good things to talk about. A lot of fun stuff happening on this date. We'll tell you all about that in a bit. Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Thursday, May the 26th. Today is Eat More Fruits and Veggies Day, and we're going to do that today. We're going to eat some fruits and veggies.
We've been eating a lot more fruit.
Really good.
Anyway.
Today is also World Lindy Hop Day today, so there you go. You got that going for you. And it's World Red Nose Day. So I've been seeing commercials for one of the pharmacies where they had put a red nose on, and they were out walking around making people smile. So today's the day. Remember Patch Adams, the movie where the guy wore the red nose?
I didn't like that movie.
You didn't?
No.
I thought it was a neat movie. Anyway, today's Red Nose Day. When I was a kid, I think my dad celebrated this day every day. His nose was kind of always red.
Okay.
He had a lot to drink almost every day. So I think isn't that one of the things that happens if you drink a lot, your nose turns red?
Know.
I think that's what it was. Today would also be a good day, I suppose, for Rudolph. But that's the end of our list. So only 3 things happening today. So eat your fruits and veggies while you have a red nose on, I guess, on this Thursday, the 26th day of May.
Do you like fun t-shirts? Our friends at 80s Tees have a bunch of fun designs from the movies and pop culture. This month, we're giving you a chance to win a $25 credit to buy the t-shirt you like, with designs from Star Wars, Superman, Ghostbusters, Deadpool, and hundreds of others. Sign up to win a $25 credit. Register for free right now at winthisonline.com. We will select 2 winners at the end of this month. You could be one of them, but only if you register at winthisonline.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. The janitorial staff in North Carolina's health store there called the bomb squad when they found a box with tick, tick, tick written on it in a pile of trash.
Oh.
It's probably a good idea to call it a bomb squad, but the box wasn't actually ticking. It just had the words tick, tick, tick written on it. Apparently the box was left over from a bomb drill the day before, but the janitor did not know that. The bomb squad searched the entire office building, finally opened the box to determine what was inside, and there was nothing in there. It was empty.
Huh.
But they had done a bomb drill the day before.
It's a good idea to be safe, though.
Yeah,
better
it is.
Safe than sorry.
It is a very good idea to be safe. I remember when I was younger, my brother and I, we had an alarm clock that we made. We didn't make the clock. We bought a clock, but we had some little things that looked like dynamite, and we stuck that to it. If somebody would see that, they would have definitely thought that it was some sort of explosive.
Especially today. You guys would end up in jail.
I know. And I'm thinking back. You have to ask my brother Jason about that sometime. But it looked like a little bomb, but it was literally just an alarm clock. But it had like these little... We found these red tubes, I think, that looked like dynamite, and he stuck some wires on there. Anyway, I don't think you could do that today.
I don't think so.
It was in his garage for a long time, and I got a feeling if that was in someone's garage today, they'd get the bomb squad called. These guys got the bomb squad called just for a box with the words tick, tick, tick written on it. So all I know is it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. A 21-year-old man was arrested after calling a drugstore to let them know that, hey, I'm on my way there to rob you guys.
We talked about this.
Have we talked to this
Yes,
about the
we
same
did.
guy?
Yes.
This guy's name is Josh Amell. Did we talk about him?
I believe so, yeah.
I don't know. This might be a different story. Anyway, he went to a drugstore because it says it happened early Thursday. So the store called the police to report a robbery. Officers arrived. They actually got there before he did. And they got there while the man was still on the phone. And they believed he was the one responsible for, quote-unquote, robbing the store. He said that he told them he had a gun and he was on his way to the pharmacy to get more drugs that he had stolen before. Okay, so he had already robbed the place once, and he called to let him know he's coming back.
I need more of those.
Yeah, coming back. You got some? Good, because I'm coming there to rob you. Anyway.
People are not smart.
No. Joshua Amell rolled into this drugstore and was arrested as he pulled into the parking lot. So,
wow.
What a convenient way to catch the guy. Thanks for calling to let us know that you were on your way. Kids, that's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
The tongue can be a powerful weapon. In Keensburg, New Jersey, 49-year-old Jeffrey Jacobati was arrested by police after harassing and threatening two women and a 12-year-old girl. Here's what makes this so weird. He didn't even touch them, didn't even say anything to them. How was he harassing them? They were on the corner. He would drive up beside them and stick out his tongue. Officer said that does constitute harassment. So, sticking out his tongue, he's just poking his tongue out at these people. He's 49 years old in New Jersey. You'd think you'd know better.
You would think so.
You're smiling. Why?
Because you've read this story.
Have I read this story?
You'd think you'd know better.
You'd think you'd know better. Well, you silly internet. I'm going to have to just delete things from the internet when I'm done reading them. I do have some really good new stories to share with you for our Scoop of the Day. That is on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your Scoop of the Day. A passenger on a flight from the Dominican Republic to Montreal had two tarantulas that got loose.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
And one climbed up a lady's leg.
Oh.
But they say it is still safer to fly with tarantulas than to drive with them. So,
oh, my gosh. I would come completely unglued.
You know, I don't think that the tarantula would hurt you. So I don't think you have anything to worry about. People get freaked out about them. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about them.
Gosh.
Just a little tarantula. Just the other day, we had a story about somebody that was banning throwing hats, and they had to digitally put them in the pictures now. Remember this? Mm. We just read about this, and the two of us chuckled about it, saying, have you ever heard of anybody getting hurt by throwing a hat? Well, now we have.
They didn't get hurt. They got whopped with it. It's not like they had to be hospitalized.
There's a video to prove it, too. I put a link to the video at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Now, I'm going to warn you, when you go there, it's pretty graphic. No, it's not really.
It is not.
It's not graphic. But I will warn you that it loops over and over. The same video just keeps playing, so you're going to have to turn it off. I didn't do that. They did that. But a girl gets hit in the face with a mortarboard. This is why they tell grads not to throw their mortarboard hats at the end of the ceremony anymore.
She probably didn't even have a bruise. This is ridiculous.
The University of Texas at Austin grad caught one in the face, and she caught it on her smartphone because she had her phone up to her face. She was videotaping the ceremony, and then right in the face.
Probably hit her phone.
And her face. It's a big hat.
It's ridiculous.
It was flying, too. And then she says,
what was that?
I don't know. You can hear it, and it loops over and over and over, and I never could understand exactly what she said. Hey, a guy sent 118 text messages in 8 hours to a woman in Florida.
Oh.
And he's been arrested now. Authorities say he sent a woman 118 text messages in a span of 8 hours. That got 34-year-old William Thomas Hardaway taken into custody. The woman couldn't take the harassment any longer. She called the police. He wouldn't quit. They arrested him. 118 text messages in 8 hours.
Wow.
Wacky but true, Heidi.
All right.
I always like it when it says that before the story. Wacky but true. Woman accused of punching son over a Taco Bell order.
Oh, good Lord.
West Virginia mother was recently charged with child abuse when she punched her teenage son in the face
gosh.
during an argument. Over what? A burrito from Taco Bell. The 15-year-old apparently ordered the wrong toppings on mom's burrito.
Oh, my
so
gosh.
she punched him in the face.
What is wrong with people?
Don't know. That happened in West Virginia, for those of you wondering. Now let's go to Russia. And I got to just say, if you're from Russia, I'm sorry to say, you've been named the country with the world's worst tourists. So I guess we're not heading to Russia. They're heading elsewhere. The survey was done by a website called Real Holiday Reports. 1,000 people, British friends, by the way, who vacation abroad in Spain and France and Cyprus and Malta, Italy, Turkey, Greece, and Portugal. It says here, a whopping 1/3 gave the pesky Russians, dubbed the new Germans, the thumbs down. Germany.
What are you talking about? Why did you start with the Brits?
Because they're the ones
Where
that
was
did
that
the
going?
survey. 1,000 people from Britain did the survey.
Okay.
And they said that the worst people to vacation with are now Russians.
Okay.
It always used to be Germans. Germans held that title for several years, but the Russians now notoriously hogged all the sun loungers at the pools.
You should have just said it that way the first time, because that was so confusing.
I'm confused too, and I'm the one reading it. They ate almost everything in sight, including all of the inclusive vacation spots. They gobbled everything up. They belched loudly in public, and they dressed like obnoxious teenagers. So there you go. Hats off to Mother Russia.
There you go.
We got room for one last story here, and I'm going to squeeze this one in because it's a short one, but a good one. In Japan, a 19-year-old was arrested for hijacking a bus. You want to guess where the bus was going?
Where?
The same exact place that he took it. If he would have just sat on the seat and rode there, he would have gone to the same place.
He would have gotten there anyway.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
good
that's
to know
funny.
that we're not the only country with morons, because this guy would have actually gotten there and not gotten in trouble had he just sat down in the seat. But instead, he hijacked the bus and went to the exact same place. That guy's an idiot. And this has been your Scoop of the Day.
Do you like fun t-shirts? Our friends at 80s Tees have a bunch of fun designs from the movies and pop culture. This month, we're giving you a chance to win a $25 credit to buy the t-shirt you like, with designs from Star Wars, Superman, Ghostbusters, Deadpool, and hundreds of others. Sign up to win a $25 credit. Register for free right now at winthisonline.com. We will select 2 winners at the end of this month. You could be one of them, but only if you register at winthisonline.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. We got a special guest joining us right now. We have an author, Joe Hill. He is the author, actually a best-selling author. He's got numerous awards. He's got a lot of cool things that we can talk about, Joe Hill. But one of the things that I think is really kind of fun as well is his dad is Stephen King, and we've got him on the phone right now. Joe, how are you, sir?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me on.
So being born in the Stephen King household, was it kind of just expected that you were going to become an author, or did Dad even say, I don't want you to be an author, or how did that all go?
Well, my mom is also a novelist. My mom is the great American novelist Tabitha King.
Oh, nice.
Written a lot of terrific novels about what it's like to be blue-collar and working class in the state of Maine. And, when I was a kid, the discussion around the dinner table was always book discussion. It was always book talk. We talked about what we were reading and favorite characters and authors and publishing and bookstores, and it's a close-knit family. We've always enjoyed spending time together, and I don't think it's that surprising that I sort of decided, well, writing seems to have given my parents a good life. Maybe it'll give me a good life too.
Exactly. And you're a pretty darn good writer as well. You've racked up some really nice awards, and you've got a new book out called The Fireman. Let's talk about The Fireman. What was the inspiration for this book?
Yeah, so The Fireman is a plague novel. It's about this stuff called dragon scale that's everywhere, and there's no cure for it. And you get it on you, and it's a fungal infection, but not a gross-looking fungal infection like athlete's foot. It's actually quite beautiful. It stripes your body with fine black lines, and almost like a tattoo, like a full-body tattoo. But then when you're anxious, when you're tense, it begins to smoke. And if you can't control your fear, you burst into flames and die of spontaneous combustion.
Wow.
And so this is spreading chaos everywhere, with hospitals burning and cities going up in smoke. And as far as the inspiration for it, I started the book about 4 years ago, And at the time, there was a presidential election going on, as there is now. And one of Barack Obama's opponents, the governor of Texas, said he didn't believe in man-made global warming. And Obama joked that this dude doesn't believe in man-made global warming, and his state is on fire. And it was true at the time. There was this massive wildfire, completely uncontrolled, going on in Texas. And I thought about that remark, and I thought about the fire down there, and I had this idea, like, what if that fire was popping up everywhere? What if it was in Texas, but it was also in Seattle, and also in New Hampshire, and also in Sioux City? And you know, what if it was like whack-a-mole? Every time you get the fire out one place, it pops up somewhere else. And I asked myself what might cause that, and I thought, how about a plague of spontaneous combustion? And boom, I had a story.
Very cool. Again, the book is called The Fireman, visiting with the author of the book, Joe Hill. Now, you've got some other books that you've had quite a bit of success with, and one of those books right now is being turned into a movie starring Daniel Radcliffe. That's got to be pretty darn exciting, too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. So my second novel, Horns, is about a guy. He goes out in a bender one night and curses God. And the next morning, he's experienced a profound metamorphosis, and he finds himself turning into a devil, and he's inherited all the powers of Satan. And it was made into a film starring Daniel Radcliffe, who just acted his heart out in a terrific, terrific central performance. And he's paired up with Juno Temple in that film. She's on vinyl now. She was tremendous. Really poured her heart into it, and I think the film's a lot of fun.
And what is the name of the film? Is it the same as the book, Horns?
Yeah, Horns, and it has a great slogan, which they only thought of after it had left theaters, which is too bad, because if we had stuck this slogan on the cover of the book, we would have sold 10 billion copies.
Oh, what is the slogan?
It was Horns, grow a pair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been huge.
So that came out kind of towards the end of the run then?
Fortunately, the movie was already headed to Netflix by then.
Well, people can click on and watch it there. Now, you've got another bestseller that's currently in development for AMC series. And now, how do I say this? NOS 4A2, am I saying that right?
So the title of the book, the cover is a vanity license plate, NOS 4A2. And if you sound it out, it spells Nosferatu, which is the German word for vampire.
Okay.
That's a book about a car that runs on human souls instead of gasoline.
Wow.
And AMC picked that up, and they're developing it as a TV show to sort of go up with Walking Dead.
Nice.
And I think that's tremendously exciting. I mean, it would be great if something happened there. You know, if you were going to be in business with anyone in TV, you'd probably pick AMC, because they put together such an amazing roster of smart, exciting TV.
They have. And it's funny because when that channel first started, it was all about movie classics, which AMC stands for American Movie Classics. But they're more well-known for their original programming that they've put out, which is absolutely fascinating.
Well, you know, and what people say about the kind of shows that AMC does is they're so great, they're like novels.
Yeah.
And the thing which is interesting about that is when I wrote The Fireman, in some ways I was thinking of one of these cable TV shows. The book is divided into 9 parts, and each part is like a standalone episode in a single season of this show about the fireman.
And again, visiting right now with Joe Hill. He is a best-selling author and has worked on writing books for several decades now, a couple decades. And one other book I see on the list here is Heart-Shaped Box. We didn't talk about that. What is Heart-Shaped Box about?
Yeah, so Heart-Shaped Box is the story of a man who buys a ghost online, and it's kind of a buyer beware story. He buys it as a joke, but it turns out that the ghost that X delivers is very real and very dangerous.
Very cool.
And so that was my breakout novel, and it did pretty well for me.
And it's got to be very exciting because right now your career has been going very well, but it's even hotter right now with your book, The Fireman. That's just a recent release. When did that come out?
It just came out last Tuesday, and you see how hard it is to talk about it without saying stuff like the hot new bestseller.
Yeah.
Joe Hill is on fire, and that's why I named the book what I named it, because I just knew people wouldn't be able to help
Well, and that's the thing, we, especially in broadcasting, we're kind of cheesy. We want to say that the hot new book, and this is, burning across America. And the interesting thing is, again, the book is called The Fireman. You were saying that back when you were first thinking of this, there were fires in Texas. Right now, with the fires blazing up in Canada, that has been in the news a lot. So I got a feeling that there's going to be quite a tie-in as people are seeing this book on the shelves. They're going to be thinking of that, and the timing of the release is pretty darn good.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't want to sell my book on the back of a horrible tragedy up in Canada. It's very unfortunate. I do think the book it's not a preachy thing. It doesn't get into environmentalism. It's not. I don't think anyone wants to have me deliver an environmental lecture over a course of a 700-page book. They want to have a good time. They want to read something where, the gas pedal is mashed down and the book flies along, and it's exciting and suspenseful, and that's the kind of experience I want to deliver. That said, the world is hotter, and it is drying out in places. And I think, when you look at the tragedy that happened in Fort McMurray, that may presage other bigger fires to come, and it's important to face that as a real threat instead of continuing to deny that the world is at risk.
Definitely. Again, our guest right now is Joe Hill, best-selling author, and he's got a new book out called The Fireman. Now, where can we find copies of this book, Joe?
The book is available anywhere fine books are sold. I would suggest starting with your local independent bookstore. And if you have a library card, you know what to do. You can also get it from all the usual suspects online. And it's also in audiobook form. It was read by Kate Mulgrew, who stars in Orange is the New Black, another fine cable series, even though it's on Netflix not, but another terrific television series. And she does a great reading. Very, very nice. Joel, thank you for taking the time to chat with us. It's been a lot of fun to catch up and chat about the projects that you've done in the past and this new, really exciting one that's burning burning the headlines across the nation. There we go. See, I had to squeeze it in somehow. The Fireman. Yeah. Hopefully readers will feel their money burning a hole in their pocket. Oh, there you go. That works too. Again, it's called The Fireman. It's available right now in bookstores if you're looking for a great opportunity. You can check that out. Again, it's called The Fireman, the author, Joe Hill. Joe, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for having me on. It's been our pleasure. And again, thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In the U.S., the 1 month in any given year that doesn't have any major holidays is which month?
I don't know.
You should know. It's the month your birthday's in, August.
That's a major holiday.
Well, there it is in our family, but in other families they don't celebrate that. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Philadelphia Stock Exchange is the oldest stock exchange in the United States of America.
Ah.
So the Philadelphia Stock Exchange is older than all the others. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The first star depicted on a postage stamp, when I say star, I don't mean one in the sky, I mean like actress.
Yeah.
The first star depicted on a postage stamp was?
Marilyn Monroe.
Grace Kelly.
Oh.
Yeah, Grace Kelly. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Epiphany Day. What day is that? Epiphany Day. It is the 6th day of January. As she remembered it, she's like, I just had an epiphany. Okay, and finally, there's only one planet that rotates clockwise, and that is Venus. Every other planet rotates counterclockwise. Venus is the loner, and it rotates counterclockwise. A couple of fun facts for you right there on a Thursday.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by RadioReallyWorks.com. I know you're listening to a podcast, but did you know the John and Heidi Show is also a radio show? And for those of you who have businesses, you should consider using radio to advertise your business. We can even help you create some catchy little jingles or amazing radio ads that will help pull people in. Get all the details or just learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Got a couple of stories I'm going to squeeze in here. Usually we do one big story, but I'm going to try to squeeze in two. Seems that Derek had filed a legal action in federal court, which was handled by U.S. Magistrate Judge O. Edward Shatler. Shatler dismissed the action, which angered Derek, who responded by writing the judge a letter saying, I quote, "I wish to see you dead as soon as I get out in 65 days. I will see to it." End quote. Now, to emphasize
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, to emphasize his point, Derek added a stick figure of a person being hung by a rope as he signed the letter.
Oh,
Derek
my.
is not going to be out now in 65
No.
days. He added another 41 months and 65 days.
gosh.
I don't think 41 months is enough time. I mean, I think he needs to add, several more years on top of that.
Wow.
I think it's a bad idea. You don't want to threaten a judge, say you're going to kill him. That's a
41
bad
months is
plan.
quite a bit of time.
Yeah, that is. But I still, would you feel safe if you were the judge, knowing that
I don't
41
think he's
months?
getting out
He's going to be
anytime
even
soon.
more angry when he gets out. And then this one here I thought was interesting too. A man had been given a traffic ticket for speeding in Chicago. He was clocked riding his motorcycle. Are you ready for this? 160 miles an hour.
Whoa.
He was in a 40-mile-per-hour zone.
Whoa.
Damon Rogan broke a Chicago speeding record by being arrested at 160 miles an hour. He was given a ticket for going through a red light and weaving as well, so he's like weaving through traffic. Although he was riding at breakneck speeds, the one thing they had to say that was really good is Mr. Rogan was wearing a helmet, leather jacket, and riding gloves. So he was dressed
At
safely.
least he was, yeah.
Dressed safely, but not driving safely at all. I saw a video on the old interweb of a person on a motorcycle who was they were videotaping on like a helmet camera, and they apparently didn't mean to, but they drove in front of somebody, and that person started chasing them, and they're videotaping this on their helmet camera.
Yikes.
And the person, I think, went berserk because they were going like ridiculous speeds, and this guy was chasing him and wouldn't leave him alone. I was like, I've had road rage, but I've never had that kind of road rage. So be careful out there, people, and just look out for each other and don't do that kind of stuff.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
Hey, for those of you who smoke, I've got one more reason to quit. You ready for another reason to quit?
Sure thing.
An unidentified 40-year-old man drove into a gasoline station on the Gold Coast of Queensland, Australia. He began to fill a jerry can with gas. What is a jerry can?
I have no idea.
I don't know either. The fumes rose up, and he had a lit cigarette dangling from his mouth.
Oh,
and
my
guess
gosh. Lit on fire.
what? Exploded,
Yeah.
throwing him 15 feet, and he landed on an ant hill. He suffered a few small burns and a bunch of ant bites. A police spokesperson says, "We took a vote, and this is the stupidest thing we've ever heard of." They had to take a vote for that. That means there were some close contenders to the guy that got blown up and landed on the anthill. I wonder what the other people did. So again, one more reason to maybe give up smoking. At least don't do it while you're filling a jerry can. I don't know what I'm going to have to Google that to find out what a jerry can is now. All right, coming up, we've got a bunch of fun stuff about vitamin C and aspirin. That is on the way.
John and Heidi.
If you catch a cold, what are you supposed to do, Heidi?
Feed a cold, starve a fever.
So-
So feed the cold.
Yeah, you're supposed to feed it vitamin C and aspirin. But now they're saying maybe not. Maybe if you get a cold, you should take a good brisk walk. A new study reveals that exercise will actually help you fight off the common cold. The study showed that men and women who walked 45 minutes a day recovered from your cold twicely as quickly as potato.
Twicely as quickly.
Twice as quickly.
My goodness.
Twicely as quickly as couch potato leaves. Yeah, they say you repair and recover yourself twice as quickly as people who just sit around and don't do nothing. Thank you, by the way, for being my wingman and pointing out every time I make a mistake. Could have pretended like that didn't happen. No, she wouldn't do that. So there you go. Next time you get a cold, they're saying instead of laying around and whining about it and drinking your vitamin C, go for a walk, and that might actually help. Coming up, we got some more fun stuff to chat about on the way.
Do you like fun t-shirts? Our friends at 80s Tees have a bunch of fun designs from the movies and pop culture. This month, we're giving you a chance to win a $25 credit to buy the t-shirt you like, with designs from Star Wars, Superman, Ghostbusters, Deadpool, and hundreds of others. Sign up to win a $25 credit. Register for free right now at winthisonline.com. We will select 2 winners at the end of this month. You could be one of them, but only if you register at winthisonline.com.
If you have grown children that still live at home, don't think you are alone. This seems to be a growing trend, especially in this economy. It says here 3 in 10 young adults live with mom and dad. This is the highest level since the 1950s. A weak economy and high debt levels are prompting more young adults to return to the family nest. A new survey shows that, perhaps surprisingly, most are happy with their living arrangements. In 1980, 11% of young adults lived in what they call multi-generational households, suggesting that a strong economy helped youngsters gain independence more quickly. Today, 29% of 25 to 34-year-olds either never moved out or have boomeranged back home with mama and papa in recent years. Many blame the economy. According to a Pew report, among 18 to 24-year-olds, that figure is even higher. 53% of young adults in that age group live at home. So our son is 19. He lives at home. That's half, 53%, half of people his age do. So that's not so bad. Well, my wife complains because I compare him to me when I was his age. I lived on my own for 2 years already when I was your age. So apparently today that's pretty darn common. 53% of adults between 18 and 24 live at home, and 29% between 25 and 34 live at home. So there you go. Heidi got a text, and she's completely engrossed in that. So I'm going to let you do that, and we're going to come back with some good news here in just a bit.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is good news. And what's being hailed as a victory for the Little Sisters of the Poor, the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously ordered lower courts to once again review a case involving Obamacare's contraception mandate. According to CBN, the mandate in question required religious groups to pay for birth control and drugs that may cause abortions. So the Beckett Fund attorney Stephanie Barclay said, the Supreme Court said that Little Sisters are protected from having to pay these massive government fines or choose to violate their religious beliefs. The Supreme Court accepted the admission from the government that the government can modify to be more respectful of religious liberties. This is a win-win decision where everybody should be able to get behind this and see that this is a good thing. So what they're saying here is the Little Sisters group, which it's called the Little Sisters of the Poor, they had a religious objection to a portion of this bill, and now they're saying that it doesn't apply to us, and they won that through the Supreme Court. So I think that's really nice.
That is good.
And here's the reason I say that, because, first of all, it's not just because I agree with what they agree with. I'll admit that I do. But even if I didn't, if that's their religious belief, we should honor that. And here's the crazy thing. It seems to me that in this country right now, if you're any other religion other than Christian, it seems that people go out of their way to make sure that they take care of that. I
would like to clarify, unless your religious beliefs are against the law. Because, like Sharia law, it's perfectly okay to murder your wife. So to say we have to embrace all religious beliefs because it's a religious belief, that's a slippery slope, because then you're making murder illegal.
But I don't think
and then
that's
anyone
a religious
who
belief.
Decides they want to, Sharia law is a part of their religion. It absolutely is. It is. It is.
I don't know. I'll have to dig into that.
Nope, it absolutely is.
Why do you have to go and open a can of worms for me? This was supposed to be good news.
Well, it is good news, but you have
I
to
don't
be.
know what to
You
think.
have to be, as long as they're not breaking the law. like
ahead.
and taking someone else's life or
I had a
hurting someone
perfectly good
else.
argument going before you brought in all this evidence, fact. Come on, Heidi. All right, time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. I'll have to check into that, to be quite honest. But I do appreciate you listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. By the way, I'll throw a link to this story at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
And we got our bonus break brought to you by WinThisOnline.com, where winning is just the beginning. And here's why we say that. Once we give the prize away, everybody that signs up for that should get an email. And check your spam folder. If you haven't been getting the emails, check it, because you should get an email. And quite often, there are special offers in those emails where even if you don't win, you could still kind of win. So WinThisOnline.com, where the winning is just the beginning. If you'd like to know more, go to the website. What is it again, Heidi?
WinThisOnline.com.
I was just checking to see if you were awake over there.
I was listening.
You are. During the program today, she hadn't said much. She was busy texting and posting things online. And
I had a very important message.
yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Like, what are you doing? Your taxes right now? Can we get back in the game? Hey, when robbing a bank, make sure you don't use your own car as a getaway vehicle, especially if you have personalized plates with your name on it. That's exactly what one robber did in England. Blundering James Snell was spotted in his BMW with the registration tags James, and it's J4MES, but it spells out James with a 4 for an A, leaving the scene of the crime where he and his buddies smashed a bank window and stole over $200,000.
Whoa.
That's a lot of dough to steal.
That is a lot.
The average bank robbery, by the way, doesn't bring that much. It's way, way, way less than that.
But to be fair, $200,000 is like 4 pounds.
Oh, is that what it is? They each walked out.
I think that's the rate.
They each
now.
walked out with one bill. Well, the car was found at a house where James and his brother were caught red-handed with the dough, and the Snells and 2 other accomplices were all found guilty. So there you go. That's what happens
there
when you
you
do dumb
go.
stuff. Hey, kind of have to wonder who's doing what here with this Norenside prison near Forfar, Scotland. I don't know if I said any of that right. In a cost-cutting move, many of the 100 prisoners currently housed there will be released for the entire week of Christmas. Serious offenders, including killers, could be among those that are turned loose. No final decision has been made by authorities. A community safety spokesperson, John Lamont, is outraged. He said, many victims of these criminals and their families of those who were killed are bearing emotional and physical scars, and they'll have to watch in horror as the people are sent home to enjoy a week with their families. Where's the justice in that? He says if it makes you feel better, the prisoners being released have to promise to come back. That's it. So we're going to let you go for Christmas. But you promise you'll come back? Oh, yeah, I'll come back. I'll come back. I promise I will. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that was last Christmas or this coming Christmas. All I know is right now it is almost June, and that story is probably not relevant. We all have a hobby to do. Patrick Murphy's hobby is apparently complaining about dog poop. Mr. Murphy finally won his case from a jury in Boulder, Colorado. Patrick has been acquitted of charges when they say that he harassed a local dog owner who he videotaped at the school park failing to pick up his dog poop. You'd think that something like this would make the news, but Patrick is a self-proclaimed dog-dropping activist. In addition to the video cameras, he recently used GPS satellite equipment to show that at one time 4 months ago, there were 663 dog piles in that same park. So this guy's got way too much time on his hands.
Yeah, way too much.
You wouldn't typically expect that to make the news, but that's why it made the news. This guy went high-tech on the old doggy dumpings.
Goodness.
Yeah, apparently he's really wanting to stop that. I tell you, we lived at a place where they were doing DNA tests on the dogs.
We did. That was the most ridiculous thing ever.
And then they could check if you let your dog go on the ground and you didn't pick it up. If it matched the DNA, you get a $100 fine.
Yeah, they had to swab our dog's mouth.
They came and swabbed our dog's mouth. Then I thought it was really ridiculous. Right outside our front door. This is in the winter. You know, the dogs were pooping and it was like chiseled into the snow. They came and chiseled it out. And how many pieces of dog droppings did they find?
I have no idea.
It was going to be like a $3,000 fine. I was like, well, you're going to have the dogs for that. I ain't going to pay no $3. You kidding me? Anyway. Hey, don't frown at a policeman in New Jersey. It's illegal. It could actually get you arrested. So if you are in New Jersey, Do not frown at the police because you could get arrested for that.
Okay.
That's a strange law. This has been your bonus break, brought to you by WinThisOnline.com, where the winning is just the beginning.